The greatest leaders are the easiest to understand. Let's talk about the three keys to ultimate simplicity. So today you can become that leader that is easiest to understand and therefore easiest to follow, easiest to succeed with. The greatest leaders are the greatest simplifiers. The greatest leaders are the best at making things, the complex, easy to understand and do. Let me share with you some great quotes on the power of simplicity, and then I'm going to give you a very simple three-step framework that you can apply today to be a much more effective, respected, admired leader. Here's some great quotes on simplicity. One from Chip Heath wrote a book called Made to Stick. Simple ideas stick, complicated ones don't. Mozart said, true genius resides in simplicity. Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Richard Koch, who wrote a great book called The 80-20 Principle, along with several other great books, he said, very few things matter, but they matter enormously. Concentrate on the things that are most important. The late, great Charlie Munger, billionaire partner of Warren Buffett. Charlie's one of the greatest business thinkers, I believe, to ever live. He said, genius has the least moving parts. Jim Collins, who wrote the legendary book Good to Great, said, if you have more than three priorities, you have none. Dr. Price Pritchett worked with 400 out of the 500 Fortune 500 companies on merger integration. Always ask the question, how simple can we make this? Naval Ravikant, great angel investor in philosophy, tells us 99% of all effort is wasted. And lastly, Greg McKeown wrote the legendary book on simplifying called Essentialism, said almost everything is non-essential. So let's go through a three-step process that you can apply today to become that leader who's easiest to understand. And you can become the ultimate simplifier and ultimately win much bigger and better and faster and easier. So here's our three-step process. Step one is to create a bold one-sentence mission statement. Step two is bumper sticker standards. These are a short list of standards that you repeat over and over again. And step three is what I call the $1 billion napkin. This is your simple winning plan. So simple, you can write it on a napkin. Okay, let's start with step one, bold one-sentence mission statement. I'm just going to give you examples of these bold one-sentence mission statements. Now, I don't believe in these paragraph, page-long mission statements. No one reads them. No one cares. It's an exercise in corporate nonsense and jargon. And it's a huge waste of time because you see these paragraph, these page-long mission statements and vision, and go ask everyone in the halls of your organization if anybody knows and even cares about this. You have to make it one sentence so it's easy to understand, it's easily repeatable, and then you as a leader have to live it. You've got to talk about it all the time. It just can't, as a good friend and mentor of mine, Dr. Alan Weiss says, it's not what's written on the walls, it's what's practiced in the halls. What's talked about and practiced in the halls. And it's not, I guarantee you, it's not these long paragraph plus mission statements that are plastic, vanilla, have no heart and soul. So let me give you some examples of great ones so you can craft one today. And all these have in what all these have in common is they're simple one statement and they've got heart and energy and a mission, and the words are strong and punchy and simple. So let's start with Nike's to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And when Nike thinks about athletes, they're thinking about everyone. Everyone is an athlete. All of us are athletes. So that's short, punchy, simple. Here's Google's to organize the world's information to make it universally accessible and useful. Here's the American Red Cross to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. Here's the mission statement of SpaceX: to revolutionize space technology with the ultimate goal of enabling people to live on other planets. Here's the great clothing company, Patagonia: we're in the business to save our home planet. And lastly, and maybe my favorite, Make a Wish, the Make a Wish Foundation. Together, we create life changing wishes for children with critical illnesses. Very simple, very easy to understand. So here's step two: the $1 billion napkin. I call it a $1 billion napkin. And this isn't about money, it's about creating something, uh, going after something huge and impactful, positive impact, revolutionary in terms of innovation and change and progress. And it has a positive impact on many people when you execute this $1 billion napkin plan. And my criteria is I love 3 steps or less. If you can get it in under 3, that's better. It's easier for us to understand when it's under 3 steps. But if it's 4 or 5 steps, that's okay. But I love 3 or less. The better you can get closer to 1 step, or the closer you can get to 1 step, the better you'll be. Now, this napkin, again, has to be short and punchy and simple. You can write it on a napkin and you can explain it in under 30 seconds, okay, to a 12-year-old. It's so simple to understand that we can all understand and execute on this $1 billion napkin. Now, when you look at, here's one from Nick Saban, one of the greatest sports coaches of all time. His was so simple. He was the best recruiter of talent, whether that's players, or coaches. It was both. And then number two, he had what's called the process, this daily process that they followed over and over again. It was very simple. They were very process oriented. And then number three, he focused on high performance psychology. He was a great psychologist. He brought in great mental performance experts to help the team. That was his $1 billion napkin. Now here's Amazon's flywheel, the virtue cycle as it's called. And Jeff Bezos famously sketched this on a napkin at the beginning of Amazon. It's a 3-step loop where each step feeds the next, creating unstoppable momentum. And here it is. Step 1, lower prices. Use scale to lower prices for customers. Step 2, more traffic. Lower prices and more selection attract more customers. That's traffic, greater traffic. And then step 3, more sellers. High traffic attracts third-party sellers, which increase selection and further lower prices. Now, the result here, the loop restarts, but faster and bigger each time. Here's the great hotel company Ritz-Carlton's 3 steps of service. Now, this was the gold standard for hospitality, and it is taught to every lady and gentleman, which Ritz-Carlton called its employees, at the company to ensure a perfect guest experience. Here's step 1, a warm and sincere greeting. Use the guest's name if possible. Step 2, anticipation and fulfillment. Anticipate what the guest needs before they ask for it. And step 3, a fond farewell. Give a warm goodbye and use the guest's name again. Here's Apple's $1 billion napkin. It was Apple's product excellence. It was a plan from Steve Jobs when he returned to Apple in 1997. What he did was he slashed 90% of their products and implemented a 4-step quadrant strategy. So right off the bat, he slashed 90% of their products because they were going out of business. Apple was going under. They had all these unprofitable products. They were scattered in their focus all over the place. Here's what Steve Jobs did. Now, step 1, drastic simplification. Focus only on 4 products, which were a consumer desktop, a consumer portable, a pro desktop, and a pro portable. Step 2, design first. Make the hardware beautiful enough that people want to touch it. Step 3, ecosystem lock-in. He connected the hardware, for example, the iPhone, to software, the iTunes App Store, so users never want to leave. And then lastly, step 4, premium pricing. Never compete on price. Compete on magic and experience. And that plan was very, very successful and also very, very simple. Lastly, here's Disney's synergy map from 1957. And Walt Disney drew a legendary diagram in 1957 that still guides the company today. It's a 3-step engine for content recycling. Step 1, the creative core. Start with a pillar movie, for example, Snow White or The Lion King. Step 2, synergistic extension. Feed that movie into theme parks, merchandise, and music divisions. And then step three, the reinvestment loop. Use the profits from toys and tickets to fund the next pillar movie. The result was one single creative win pays dividends for 50 plus years. Here's pillar three of becoming the ultimate simplifier, the leader who is the easiest to understand, and that's bumper sticker standards. These are a short list of standards repeated. These are 2 to 5, at the most 7-word standards that you say over and over and over again. You never deviate from the standards. Nick Saban and Curt Cignetti, two great football coaches, if you listen to them both talk, they're very easy to understand. They speak in very simple statements, bumper stickers, mantras over and over and over again. I believe one of the greatest examples of this is Jeff Bezos' 14 leadership principles at Amazon. They don't use the phrase core values. Instead, they operate by leadership principles. These are the foundational behavioral standards of the company. Now, I believe Jeff's greatest invention is not Amazon.com and the shopping, or one-click buy, or 2-day shipping, or Amazon Prime, or Amazon Web Services. I believe it's his 14 leadership principles that built all these things. Now, I'll just give you a few of them. One is customer obsession. Another one is all right a lot. Leaders are right a lot, so you better be right if you want to be in a leadership position. Another one, learn and be curious. Another one, hire and develop the best. They always prioritize the best talent they possibly could. And let me give you a few more. Think big, bias for action, frugality. Very simple, easy to understand. People who knew Jeff, they called them Jeffisms because he said these over and over and over again. Let me give you another example. Zappos.com is one of the clearest and most famous examples of codified company values. Let me give you a few. Deliver wow through service. Embrace and drive change. Create fun and a little weirdness. Do more with less. Pursue growth and learning. Very simple, easy to understand. I'll give you another one of my favorites here. Southwest Airlines, 3 personal commitments. These are so beautiful. Warrior spirit, servant's heart, fun-loving attitude. And Southwest's living the Southwest way is a cultural triple threat. Warrior spirit demands fearless innovation and hard work. Servant's heart prioritizes putting others first with respect. And a fun-loving attitude ensures that you don't take yourself too seriously. Together, they transform a commodity airline into a legendary people-first brand. Beautiful. Beautiful in simplicity. Easy to understand. Easy to execute day to day in the hallways, with our customers, with each other. So let's review here. And my challenge to you is to create these for yourself. Okay? Step one is that bold one-sentence mission. Make it a sentence and say it over and over again. This will be your North Star, your guiding light. That'll drive everything else. Everything else follows this. Step two, bumper sticker. Step two, $1 billion napkin plan. Okay, you want to have that simple winning plan, 3 steps, no more than 5, that everyone understands on the team. The team has to understand this. And if you don't have a plan, as most leaders don't, then no one's going to understand you, and they're not going to follow you, and it'll cause unnecessary stress, and you're going to win way less, if at all. So you've got to really take the time with an expert if you can. I do this for my clients, where we simplify this down. There's other experts who can help you do this. That'll simplify your winning plan down. The winning plan, not just any plan, but it's got to be a plan that'll get you to that achievement of your one-sentence mission. And then lastly, your bumper sticker standards. That simple list of standards repeated over and over and over again. They've got to be punchy. They can't be vanilla. Nobody notices normal. You've got to show up different. You have to say things different than everybody else. So my challenge to you is to create this simple, beautiful, easy to understand leadership framework. Be the ultimate simplifier. And if you do this, you'll make a much greater positive impact on the world and your team and everyone around you. This applies also if you're a parent, a sports coach, business leader, military, law enforcement leader. It doesn't matter. It applies to everything. I wish you an elevated life of success, happiness, and positive impact.